Nasıl soframızı alırsın?
Fatih dur bir anlamadan dinlemeden. Söyle bakayım çocuğum. Kimmiş anne?
Benim annem Başak Keskin.
Would require significant adjustment. The producer's remark changed the conversation. Farouk Turgut's reported comments therefore had enormous impact. When a producer suggests that the departure of one actor could potentially lead to the end of a series, fans interpret that as evidence that the actor is central to the production. The June report also stated that Dogukan Gungor's departure was a channel decision. This illustrates how complicated television casting can be. Not every departure is the result of an actor choosing to leave. Sometimes a channel decides. Sometimes the production company decides. Sometimes the storyline reaches its natural conclusion. Sometimes an actor's contract changes. And sometimes an unexpected controversy affects future decisions. The public generally sees only the final result. Why early final is probably the wrong description based on the available information. Calling the current situation an early final would be premature. The evidence points instead toward a major transition. The fourth season ended. The fifth season was reportedly being prepared. Cast uncertainty remained, and the audience was waiting to discover which characters would return. That is not the same thing as a confirmed cancellation. There is another important distinction. A season finale is not a series finale. This confusion appears frequently in Turkish television discussions. When a show ends its season, viewers may see headlines saying "final episode," but that does not necessarily mean the series itself is finished. In the case of Kızılcık Şerbeti, Show TV explicitly identified the May 2026 episode as the fourth season finale. The subsequent reports about a fifth season further support that distinction. What the fifth season could mean. The fifth season could become one of the most important periods in the show's history. There are several possible directions. Scenario 1, Nile remains. If Feyza Çivilek continues as Nile, the writers can preserve an important part of the existing family structure. This would allow the show to continue several established storylines while introducing new conflicts. It would also immediately reduce some of the fan anxiety surrounding the series. Scenario 2, Nile leaves. If Çivilek does leave, the writers could write Nile out through a major storyline. That might involve a family conflict, a personal transformation, a relocation, or another dramatic event. The key would be making the departure emotionally satisfying. If handled properly, the show could continue. Scenario 3, temporary absence. Another possibility would be a limited absence. Television dramas sometimes place characters outside the main narrative for a period before bringing them back. This option would allow the production to create suspense without permanently closing the door. Scenario 4, a complete structural reset. The boldest option would be a major reset. The fifth season could introduce new families, new relationships, and a different central conflict while retaining the most popular established characters. That could give the show another long-term life. But it would also be risky. Nursema's importance Nursema presents a different opportunity. Her character has experienced an extraordinary transformation. She began as someone struggling under family expectations and gradually became one of the show's more independent and emotionally complex figures. Her relationships have repeatedly challenged traditional expectations. That makes Nursema particularly useful to the writers. Removing her would eliminate a character whose story naturally generates conflict between personal freedom and family loyalty. Seren Karakoç's performance also became strongly associated with that transformation. For that reason, the continued presence of Nursema could provide stability during a period of broader cast changes. Why the Nursema exit rumors keep returning. There is a simple explanation. The character is frequently placed in dangerous situations: fire, accidents, relationship crises, family confrontations. Every time the writers create a cliffhanger around Nursema, social media asks whether it is the end. The April fire storyline is a perfect example. Reports explicitly acknowledged the speculation surrounding Karakoç's future, but also noted that no official farewell had been announced. The season finale created another cliffhanger. Again, speculation exploded. Again, the available reporting did not establish a confirmed departure. Therefore, the repeated rumors should be viewed in the context of the show's storytelling style. Social media has become part of the drama. Another reason the rumors spread so quickly is social media. A single screenshot can generate thousands of comments. A vague farewell message can be interpreted as a departure. A backstage photograph can become evidence. A missing actor from a promotional image can trigger theories. This phenomenon is not unique to Kızılcık Şerbeti, but the series has an especially active online audience. The result is a constant cycle. Rumor, fan reaction, social media trend, news coverage, new speculation. Sometimes the original information is relatively small. By the end of the cycle, it has become a claim that the entire series is ending, the difference between a rumor and an announcement. This distinction cannot be overstated. A rumor can be interesting. A rumor can even turn out to be correct. But until an official production, channel, producer, or act statement confirms it, it remains a rumor. In the current situation, the available evidence does not justify declaring that Kızılcık Şerbeti has been cancelled. Instead, there is evidence pointing toward a fifth season, while major questions remain around individual actors and characters. That is the responsible interpretation of the situation. What viewers should expect. The fifth season will likely have to answer several questions immediately. Will Nile return? What happens to Nursema after the accident? Which characters will remain central? Which new characters will enter the story? Will the writers return to the original family conflict? Or will the show move toward a new generation? These questions are more important than the simple question of whether the series is ending. Because even if Kızılcık Şerbeti continues, it may not continue in the same form. The real test: audience loyalty. Ultimately, the future of the series will depend on audience loyalty. A television drama can lose actors and continue. It can change writers and continue. It can introduce new characters and continue. But it cannot survive indefinitely if viewers stop caring about the story. The fourth season finale numbers show that Kızılcık Şerbeti still commands a significant audience. That gives the production a strong foundation. The challenge is keeping those viewers engaged. The emotional connection. One reason the show has lasted so long is emotional investment. Viewers have spent years watching these characters marry, separate, fight, reconcile, make mistakes, and rebuild their lives. That creates a relationship between the audience and the fictional world. When an actor leaves, viewers do not simply lose a performer, they lose a character they have emotionally followed. That is why departures can feel like the end of an era. Why the rumor is so powerful. The phrase Kızılcık Şerbeti is ending is powerful because it combines several fears at once. Fans fear losing familiar characters. They fear the writers may not be able to replace them. They fear the new season may feel different. And they fear that a series they have followed for years could suddenly disappear. But fear is not confirmation. At present, the evidence suggests a transition rather than immediate cancellation. The fifth season could actually revitalize the series. Ironically, the cast changes that created the final rumors could eventually help the show. Long-running dramas sometimes become repetitive. Characters repeat the same conflicts. Relationships become predictable. viewers begin to anticipate every twist. A new cast member can disrupt that pattern. A departure can force characters to evolve. A new relationship can create a completely different emotional dynamic. Therefore, what looks like a crisis may also become an opportunity. A new chapter rather than a final chapter. The most convincing interpretation of the current situation is that Kızılcık Şerbeti is entering a new chapter. The fourth season closed. Major characters faced uncertain futures. Feyza Çivilek became the center of a major controversy. Ceren Karakoç's Nursema survived storylines that generated repeated departure speculation, and reports in July indicated that preparations for a fifth season were underway. That sounds less like an early final and more like a major restructuring. Final assessment. So, is Kızılcık Şerbeti ending? Based on the information currently available, there is no solid basis to say that the series is being cancelled immediately or receiving an early final. The fourth season has ended, but that was a season finale, not a confirmed series finale. Show TV officially reported the May 2026 episode as the fourth season finale, while later reporting indicated preparations for a fifth season. The uncertainty surrounding Feyza Çivilek and Nile is real and has generated significant discussion. Producer Faruk Turgut's reported comments made the situation even more dramatic, while Melis Çivilek publicly rejected claims that personal relationships would determine her professional decisions regarding the series. As for Ceren Yalazoglu Karakoç, repeated storylines involving Nursema have produced departure rumors, but the available reporting does not establish a confirmed permanent exit. The character's dangerous fire storyline and later accident instead demonstrate how the series uses cliffhangers to create uncertainty. Therefore, the real story is not necessarily Kızılcık Şerbeti is ending. The bigger story is Kızılcık Şerbeti is entering its next era under intense pressure to prove that it can remain successful despite major character and cast changes. And that may make the fifth season one of the most closely watched chapters in the show's history. For long-time viewers, the coming season will answer the question that matters most. Can Kızılcık Şerbeti remain Kızılcık Şerbeti even after so many changes? That answer will ultimately be determined not by rumors, social media theories, or sensational headlines, but by the stories that appear on screen, and by whether audiences continue to care enough to watch them every week. Important note, this article distinguishes confirmed developments from rumors and speculation. Claims about future cast departures or a series finale should not be treated as confirmed, unless officially announced by the production company, Show TV, or the relevant actor,